So this is pretty interesting, guys. An article that was published on Live Science about 3 days ago is reporting that they have witnessed some unusual activity around the South Atlantic anomaly. Now, anytime I see changes that have a connection to our magnetic field, I am absolutely paying attention to it because, as we know, the Earth's magnetic field is weakening. They have measured this weakening, and now we see that the South Atlantic anomaly is impacting auroras, and the auroras around this area are a lot weaker, and they say they are even dimmer. Now, the area they are talking about is some research stations around China's Great Wall Station and some research stations around the King George Island. Now, they're saying that they think it's because the weakened magnetic fluctuations of the anomaly seem to reduce the amount of energy that can be put into the atmosphere by solar particles, Lou said. But the physics of the weakened aurora is not entirely understood. So they really don't have a fucking clue, guys, okay? And they don't have a clue about what the South Atlantic anomaly is. And for you guys that don't really know what it is, it's literally a part of the Earth's magnetic field that is weaker than the other areas. And because it's weaker, it allows radiation and solar particles to dip lower, and this causes all sorts of problems to their satellites. In fact, all of these little white dots here are malfunctions that their satellites experienced while they were orbiting the area over the South Atlantic anomaly. So their satellites can malfunction, short circuit, and get damaged by this area because they are being impacted by an increase in radiation. And so now we're seeing that these auroras around this area are also changing. And I find it interesting because we are seeing other changes to the auroras as well. Auroras are experiencing a lot more frequent red and pink colors, which used to be quite rare. We're also seeing a new phenomenon called Steve, okay, and I think that this is just a way that they downplay this auroral arc that they can't really understand. This was actually discovered around 2016 by some sky watchers, and they brought it to the attention of the astrophysicists. And so this is just more confirmation that we are seeing changes to our magnetosphere. And so they are also warning that we are going to see changes with the South Atlantic anomaly, which could actually result in its splitting. So you can see here that the model shows that in 2025, it actually splits. And it continues to grow. I've got a report here from the 2023 WMM annual report. It's literally a report about the state of our geomagnetic field, and it goes on to say that the South Atlantic anomaly grows. Okay, so issues that are exacerbated by the South Atlantic anomaly's growth in size by 7% over the last 4 years. Issues to their satellites that's causing problems with radio propagation also. And of course, the larger that the anomaly gets, the more problems it's causing. Now, I am seeing a lot of changes in our upper atmosphere. This is a diagram and data of the ionization of our atmosphere. And you can see that we aren't even hitting C flares, and there is ionization occurring. Now, I have been watching the solar data since 2011. Okay, I began uploading information and observations in 2011, and I was very interested in the solar activity, and so I watched this daily. And this used to be black, and the only time you would ever see any ionization on the top of the planet's atmosphere was when we had a decent sized flare. Now we're actually getting it, even when it's just, below a C flare. It's always ionized. And that tells me that there isn't a magnetic connection between us and the sun, because as soon as we get any flare at all, this reacts immediately. You can see that if we were to get an X flare, this is what it would look like. And these changes used to only be observed back in 2011 and 2012 and 2013 when we had a really decent flare. Now, this is just ionized all the time. So this shows me that we are magnetically connected to our sun. So I am not surprised that we are seeing all of these changes. Everything happening to our magnetic field is due to the sun's activity, and everything happening to our sun is due to the galactic core, because it's all connected, guys. Okay, this is called the principle of correspondence, and this is Hermetic science. This is the most ancient science. This is the only science that you need. You don't need the science from these supposed experts that have no fucking clue. They tell you they have no clue. It is not entirely understood, but we're just going to keep giving you theories, and because we seem to be such experts and we walk around in white coats and we have these fancy little certificates on our wall, you will believe everything we tell you, even though it's only a theory. We have no evidence for it. I suggest that if you don't know what Hermetic science is, you absolutely go and research into Hermetic science. I have videos on my channel in regards to Hermetic science, and that will allow you to understand why everything is connected. And when we see changes in the sun, we're going to see changes in our atmosphere. And changes in our atmosphere and our magnetic field mean changes in us too, because we're all connected. Everything is connected. And this is something that they will never reveal to you. They like to separate everything, and they like to compartmentalize everything. It makes it more confusing for us to understand what is happening. But what is happening is that we are now in the last degree of the great year, which is a 26,000 year cycle. And these changes that are occurring are natural and expected, because the ancients left us warnings. And so we are going to continue to see these changes, and they are going to continue to scratch their heads and give us theories and not reveal the truth, because only those at the very top know the truth. They're not going to reveal this to the masses. And unfortunately, they are just going to sleepwalk to their demise and not understand what is happening. In fact, they are being brainwashed into believing that they are the cause of all of these changes on our planet at the moment, which is resulting in more severe weather, more hurricanes that are happening in unusual times that they're not usually seen. It's happened twice this year already. We're seeing, more volcanic activity, and this is going to continue. It's just going to keep escalating. So if you're interested, as I said, I've got information about the Great Year on my channel. I've got information about Hermetic science on my channel. You are most welcome to join the forum. I have a lot of information on the forum. We post daily about all of the earth changes. There is also plenty of information in regards to the knowledge and all of the information that has allowed me to understand why we are experiencing all of these changes, because they are not going to tell you. So you can just join the forum, and as I said, all of this information is available. I've put it in different categories. There's resources there. I always say, do not listen to what I am telling you. I just will literally give you the resources for you to go and look this for yourself. I have just tried to provide the most amount of evidence for my conclusions that I can, that has allowed me to piece everything together. And then I expect others who are seekers of truth to go and do the same thing, not just believe what I am telling them. But I am basically just observing more and more changes. And as I said, this is why I pay attention to these articles, and these changes. So I will post everything underneath the video, guys, and you can check that out for yourself in more detail. And I suggest and I advise that you do, because you are not going to be told the truth by those in charge. Do you really think that they would keep control of the masses if the masses knew the truth? I mean, you just have to ask yourself that. Of course they wouldn't. So the whole idea is confusion. Confusion is the name of the game. They use science to confuse us, and they basically keep us ignorant to why this is all happening. And they know why it's all happening. They absolutely know, because they have access to knowledge that they have hoarded and stolen and locked away. And they know exactly why these changes are now happening, and they are preparing themselves, and they are just leading us like lambs to the slaughter, guys. So don't be just a sheep being led to the slaughter. Arm yourself with knowledge. Knowledge is power, and it will allow you to ready yourself for what is coming. All right, guys, I'll leave it here. And as always, peace out.